The breaking point. The crystalline halls of the Galactic Council chamber stretched endlessly above Ambassador Marcus Chen as he walked toward the central platform. His footsteps echoed against walls that had witnessed 1,000 different species plead their cases over the millennia. Today would be different. Today, humanity would make its final stand. Behind Marcus, Dr. Elena Vasquez clutched her data tablets tighter than usual. The brilliant scientist had spent 3 sleepless nights preparing for this moment, analyzing decades of council decisions that had shaped humanity's place in the galaxy. Captain Sarah Rodriguez walked beside them, her sharp eyes scanning the assembled alien delegates who filled the massive chamber. As humanity's military advisor, she understood the weight of what they were about to do. The council chamber fell silent as the 3 humans reached the speaking platform. Above them, the High Council sat in their elevated positions, representatives of the 12 most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. At the center, Councillor Vextar of the Zenthari Empire lounged in his biomechanical throne, his metallic skin gleaming under the chamber's artificial stars. The Zenthari had dominated galactic politics for over 2,000 years, and Vextar's expression showed nothing but bored contempt for the proceedings. Ambassador Chen. Vextar's voice resonated through the chamber's translation systems. You have requested this emergency session to present humanity's proposal for expanded technological sharing. The Council is prepared to hear your words, though I suspect they will be as unrealistic as your previous requests. Marcus stepped forward, his voice calm and measured despite the frustration burning in his chest. Honored counselors, humanity comes before you today, not as supplicants, but as partners. For 87 years, we have contributed to galactic society. Our explorers have mapped unknown sectors, our scientists have solved problems that plagued the Council for centuries, and our diplomats have prevented 17 interspecies conflicts. A murmur rippled through the chamber. The humans' confidence was unusual. Most species approached the Council with reverence, even fear. Yet, Marcus continued, every advancement we propose is rejected. Every innovation we develop is restricted. Every time humanity shows potential for true partnership, we are reminded that we are the newest members, the youngest species, the ones who must wait our turn. Elder Kothmel of the Void Dwellers, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, shifted in her energy-formed chair. Her ancient voice whispered through the chamber like wind through cosmic dust. Human Ambassador, your species has been granted protections and technologies far beyond what you possessed when you joined our alliance. Why do you speak of restrictions? Dr. Elena Vasquez stepped forward, her eyes blazing with scientific passion. Because the restrictions are designed to keep us dependent, Elder Kothmel. May I present our analysis? Without waiting for permission, Elena activated her holographic display. Charts and data streams filled the air above the platform, showing decades of Council decisions. Every time humanity develops something new, the Council creates regulations to control it. When we invented our bioneural computers, you banned direct neural interfaces. When we developed quantum tunneling drives, you restricted faster-than-light travel. When we created self-repairing materials, you limited their distribution. Elena's voice grew stronger with each example. This isn't protection. This is systematic suppression. Vextar's mechanical features shifted into what might have been amusement. Dr. Vasquez, these restrictions exist for the safety of all species. Your people are impulsive, unpredictable. You wage wars among yourselves, damage your own planet, create technologies without considering consequences. The Council's wisdom protects you from your own nature. Our nature. Captain Rodriguez spoke for the first time, her military bearing evident in every word. Our nature is to adapt, to overcome challenges, to find solutions where others see impossibilities. Yes, we make mistakes, but we learn from them faster than any species you've encountered. The chamber erupted in clicking, humming, and various alien sounds of derision. A delegate from the crystalline, Shard Collective spoke in harmonics that translated as, humans speak of learning, yet they nearly destroyed their homeworld before achieving space travel. Their emotional instability makes them unsuitable for advanced technologies. Marcus raised his hand for silence. We did nearly destroy our world. We learned from that near disaster and became the first species to completely reverse planetary damage within 2 centuries of recognizing it. We turned our deserts into gardens, our polluted oceans into pristine waters, and our divided peoples into a unified civilization. No other species in Council records has achieved such rapid transformation. Enough. Vextar's voice boomed through the chamber. The Council has heard your arguments before, human. Your request for unrestricted technological sharing is denied. Your proposal for equal representation is denied. Your demand for expanded exploration rights is denied. The Council's decision is final. For a moment, the chamber was completely silent. Marcus looked at his companions, then back at the assembled council. When he spoke, his voice carried a finality that made even the ancient Void Dwellers pay attention. Then humanity formally withdraws from the Galactic Council, effective immediately. The silence shattered as hundreds of alien voices erupted in shock, outrage, and disbelief. Vextar rose from his throne, his metallic form towering over the chamber. You cannot be serious, human. No species has ever left the Council voluntarily. Your people will be isolated, cut off from galactic trade, denied access to hyperspace routes. You will collapse within a decade. Elena smiled, an expression that somehow seemed both sad and triumphant. Councillor Vextar, you've just made the same mistake the Council has been making for nearly 9 decades. You underestimate humanity. She activated another holographic display, this one showing star maps with hundreds of glowing points. These are human colonies that exist outside Council space. For 30 years, we've been building our own civilization. The display shifted, showing massive structures hidden in asteroid fields, thriving colonies on worlds the Council had deemed uninhabitable, and most shocking of all, ships using technologies that surpassed anything in the Council's archives. Captain Rodriguez stepped forward. While you've been restricting our development, we've been developing in secret. Our ships can travel twice as fast as yours. Our colonies can thrive in environments that would kill your people. Our technologies solve problems you didn't even know existed. Vextar's metal features twisted in rage. Impossible. Our sensors would have detected such activities. Your sensors detect what they're programmed to look for, Elena replied calmly. We learned to hide our signatures by studying your detection methods. Every restriction you placed on us taught us something new about your limitations. Elder Kothmel's ancient voice cut through the chaos. Show us. Prove these claims, humans. Marcus nodded to Sarah, who activated a communication device unlike anything the Council had seen. Instead of the crude electromagnetic systems humanity had used for decades, this device seemed to bend space itself around its signal. Fleet Command. This is Ambassador Chen. Operation Independence is authorized. Begin Phase 1 demonstrations. High above the Council's capital world, space itself seemed to ripple. Suddenly, 12 human ships materialized, their hulls gleaming within strange adaptive metal that shifted colors like liquid mercury. The ships were massive, easily 3 times larger than the Council's finest vessels, and their design incorporated principles of physics that the assembled aliens were only beginning to understand. The Council's defense fleet, caught completely off guard, scrambled to respond. Warning alarms echoed through the chamber as the massive alien ships moved to intercept the human vessels. But something impossible happened. The human ships simply weren't there anymore. They had dispersed into clouds of smaller craft that moved with perfect coordination, like schools of fish made of starlight. Our adaptive ship technology, Elena explained as the Council members watched in stunned silence. Each vessel can separate into hundreds of smaller craft or combine into larger ones as needed. Your weapons target single ships. Ours become whatever they need to be. On the viewing screens, the human fleet performed maneuvers that defied conventional understanding of space combat. They moved through the Council's defensive formations like water through a net, never staying in one configuration long enough to be targeted effectively. Vextar sank back into his throne, his usual arrogance replaced by something approaching fear. "This is, how long have you been planning this?" "Since the day you first told us we weren't ready for advanced technology," Marcus replied. "We realized then that the Council wasn't interested in partners. You wanted dependence, so we became independent." Captain Rodriguez gestured to the screens showing the ongoing demonstration. "Every time you said no to one of our proposals, we found another way. Every restriction forced us to become more creative. Every limitation made us stronger." The ancient void dweller, Elder Kothmel, had been silent throughout the demonstration. Now her whispered voice carried a note of something that might have been respect. "Your species learns through conflict, through challenge. The Council's protections were not protections at all, but obstacles that made you grow stronger." "Exactly," Elena said. "We don't need your protection anymore. We don't need your restrictions, and we certainly don't need your permission to reach our potential." Vextar found his voice again, though it lacked its previous authority. "You think you can survive alone. The galaxy is dangerous, human. There are threats out there that make your petty wars look like children's games. The void storms that consume entire systems, the entropy plague that turns matter itself into chaos, the Dark Ones who haven't been seen for 3,000 years, Marcus interrupted. "Yes, we know about the ancient threats. We also know that the Council's response has been to build static defenses and hope for the best. Our approach is different." Elena activated one final display, this one showing a network of connected points spanning multiple star systems. The Human Consciousness Network. Every human colony, every ship, every settlement connected through quantum entanglement communication. When one of us learns something, we all learn it instantly. When one of us faces a threat, we all respond immediately. The implications hit the Council members like a physical blow. A species with instantaneous communication across galactic distances, with adaptive technology that could respond to any threat, with the creativity and determination that had carried them from a single world to the stars in less than 2 centuries. Sarah Rodriguez stepped forward for the final statement. "The Council can keep its protections, its restrictions, and its fears. Humanity chooses growth over safety, adaptation over stagnation, and independence over dependence. We're not asking for your permission anymore. We're informing you of our decision." As the 3 humans turned to leave, Vextar called out desperately, "You're making a mistake. Without the Council's guidance, your species will." Marcus paused at the chamber's entrance and looked back. "Our species will become whatever it needs to become. That's what you never understood about us, Counselor. We don't just adapt to survive. We adapt to thrive." The massive doors of the Council chamber sealed behind them with a sound like thunder. Outside, the human ships had already begun their journey back to human space, leaving the Council to contemplate a galaxy that had suddenly become much more complex. In the depths of space, humanity's true journey was just beginning. The transformation. 3 years had passed since humanity's dramatic departure from the Galactic Council, and the universe had changed in ways no one could have predicted. On the Council's capital world of Nexus Prime, emergency sessions had become routine as crisis after crisis demanded their attention. Counselor Vextar stood before a holographic display showing the latest reports from across Council space. His metallic features, once gleaming with confidence, now appeared dulled by stress and repeated failures. Red indicators blinked across star systems, each one representing a problem the Council seemed unable to solve. "The Helix Nebula colonies have gone dark," reported Commander Zithrak of the Insectoid Hive Collective. "Our ships cannot penetrate the energy storms that have formed around the system. 3 rescue fleets have been lost." Elder Kothmel's ethereal form flickered with concern. "The quantum plague continues to spread through the Outer Rim territories. Our containment efforts have failed completely. Entire worlds are becoming uninhabitable as reality itself becomes unstable. And now we have reports of the Void Hunters returning," added the crystalline shard delegate. its harmonic voice heavy with fear. The ancient enemy that nearly destroyed the galaxy 5,000 years ago. Our archives suggest they are attracted to civilizations that have grown stagnant, unchanging. Vextar's throne creaked as he leaned forward. What of our technology reserves? Can we not adapt our defenses to meet these new threats? That is the problem, Counselor, Elder Kothmel replied sadly. Our technology has not changed significantly in 3 millennia. We have perfected our systems, yes, but perfection breeds stagnation. When faced with truly new challenges, our responses are inadequate. The irony was not lost on anyone in the chamber. For thousands of years, the Council had maintained stability through rigid adherence to proven methods. Their technology was reliable, their strategies time-tested, their civilizations secure. But security had come at the cost of innovation, and now the galaxy was changing faster than their static systems could handle. Meanwhile, in a star system that wasn't even on the Council's updated star charts, humanity's newest colony world of Aurora Prime buzzed with activity that would have seemed like magic to their former galactic neighbors. Dr. James Park stood in the center of the adaptive research complex, his consciousness partially linked to the colony's quantum computing network. Around him, holographic displays showed real-time data from across human space, updated instantly through the quantum entanglement communication grid that connected every human settlement. Report from the Kepler colonies, announced Dr. Lisa Chen, her mind directly interfaced with the communication system. They've successfully terraformed 3 previously uninhabitable worlds using the new biosynthetic atmosphere processors. The native ecosystems are not only intact but thriving alongside human settlements. James nodded, his attention shifting to another data stream. The deep space exploration teams have made contact with 17 previously unknown species in the past month alone. All peaceful contact so far, and 3 species have already expressed interest in technology sharing agreements. What made these achievements remarkable wasn't just their scope, but their speed. Where the Council required decades of committees and approvals for any significant project, human colonies implemented new solutions in weeks. The Human Consciousness Network allowed instant sharing of discoveries, failures, and innovations across thousands of light years. Captain Maria Santos, now Admiral of the Human Deep Space Fleet, materialized as a hologram in the research center. Her image was being transmitted from the bridge of the Starship Resilience, currently exploring a region of space that the Council had deemed too dangerous to approach. We've encountered something you need to see, Maria announced. Long-range sensors have detected structures in the abyssal sector that match no known architecture. They're massive, larger than entire star systems, and they appear to be growing. The implication sent a chill through the research team. The abyssal sector was where the ancient void hunters had last been seen, according to the most recent Council archives that humanity had accessed before their departure. Dr. Park's expression grew serious. Are they showing any signs of hostile intent? Unknown, Maria replied. But they're expanding toward populated systems. At current growth rate, they'll reach the Council's outer territories within 6 months. As if summoned by the gravity of the situation, Admiral Chen's consciousness touched the network from Earth itself. The leader of humanity's military forces had been monitoring the situation from the Sol system's new orbital command platform, a structure that existed partially in normal space and partially in folded dimensions. We've been analyzing the patterns, Admiral Chen's mental voice echoed through the network. These aren't random structures. They're showing signs of intelligence, purpose, and they're responding to galactic civilization patterns, specifically to areas where technological and social development has remained static for extended periods. The realization struck the research team like lightning. The ancient void hunters hadn't been destroyed 5,000 years ago. They had been waiting, and now something had awakened them. They're drawn to stagnation, Dr. Park whispered. The Council's stability, their unchanging nature, it's like a beacon to these entities. Before anyone could respond, priority alerts began flashing across their quantum communication network. A message was coming through on the emergency diplomatic channels that hadn't been used since humanity left the Council. The message was from Elder Kothmel herself, and her usually composed mental presence carried undertones of desperation. Humanity, her message began. The Galactic Council formally requests immediate assistance. We face threats beyond our current capabilities to handle. The ancient Void Hunters have returned, drawn by forces we do not understand. Our conventional responses have proven inadequate. We need your help. The admission must have cost the ancient being tremendous pride. The Council, which had treated humanity as children for nearly a century, was now begging for their aid. Admiral Chen's response was immediate and broadcasted across the entire human consciousness network, allowing every human settlement to participate in the decision-making process. What does humanity think? Do we help our former galactic neighbors? The response came back within minutes, the collective consciousness of billions of humans reaching a consensus through the quantum network. The decision was unanimous. Humanity would help, but not as subordinates returning to the Council. They would help as equals, offering partnership rather than servitude. Dr. Elena Vasquez, now Director of Humanity's Xenological Research Division, took charge of formulating the response. Her message back to Elder Kothmel was carefully crafted to establish the new relationship dynamic. Elder Kothmel, humanity will provide assistance against the Void Hunter threat. However, we propose a new model of cooperation. Not a return to the old Council structure, but the formation of a Galactic Innovation Alliance, where all member species contribute their unique strengths as equals. The response from Nexus Prime came surprisingly quickly. The Council, faced with extinction-level threats, had little choice but to accept humanity's terms. 3 weeks later, the first joint operation between humanity and the former Council species took place in the Helix Nebula, where energy storms had trapped entire colonies. Human ships, with their adaptive hull technology, were able to penetrate the storms while Council vessels provided support and evacuation assistance. But it was what happened during the rescue operation that truly demonstrated how much the galaxy had changed. Admiral Santos, commanding the rescue fleet, established a temporary quantum link with the Council ships, sharing human adaptive technology in real time. For the first time in millennia, Council species experienced the constant evolution and innovation that had become natural to humanity. Vextar himself was aboard the Council flagship, and his reaction to the human technology sharing was profound. As his ship's systems began adapting and improving in real time, incorporating new solutions to problems he hadn't even realized existed, the Zentheri leader experienced something his species hadn't felt in centuries: growth. "This is remarkable," Vextar transmitted to Admiral Santos. "Our systems are becoming more efficient by the moment." "How is this possible?" "This is how we've been living for the past 3 years," Santos replied. "Constant adaptation, constant improvement. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every problem becomes an opportunity for innovation." The rescue operation was completed in record time, with 0 casualties and several technological breakthroughs that benefited all species involved. But more importantly, it demonstrated the power of true cooperation between adaptive and stable civilizations. As the combined fleet returned to Council space, they encountered the first Void Hunter construct, a massive dark structure that seemed to absorb light and energy from the surrounding space. Traditional Council weapons had no effect on its bizarre matter composition. But humanity's approach was different. Instead of trying to destroy the construct with brute force, they studied it, adapted to it, found ways to communicate with the intelligence that controlled it. Dr. Park, his consciousness linked to the exploration ship's quantum computers, made the breakthrough discovery. "It's not malevolent," he announced to the combined fleet. "It's lonely. The Void Hunters aren't destroyers, they're gardeners. They've been watching galactic civilizations for millions of years, waiting for species to evolve beyond mere survival." The revelation changed everything. The Void Hunters hadn't returned to destroy stagnant civilizations, but to offer them a choice: evolve or remain trapped in comfortable mediocrity forever. Elder Kothmel, her ancient consciousness touching the human quantum network for the first time, experienced the expansion of awareness that came with constant growth and adaptation. "We understand now," she whispered across the network. "The Council's greatest achievement, our stability, was also our greatest limitation." The formal establishment of the Galactic Innovation Alliance took place not in the old council chambers, but in open space, with representatives from dozens of species linking their consciousness through the human quantum network. For the first time in galactic history, truly instantaneous communication and cooperation became possible across vast distances. Vextar, his metallic form now gleaming with new purpose, addressed the assembled alliance. "Today, we begin not just a new chapter in galactic history, but a new book entirely. The age of static civilizations is over. The age of constant evolution and growth has begun." The Void Hunters, satisfied that galactic civilization had finally begun to mature, retreated to the spaces between galaxies, their role as cosmic gardeners complete for another era. In the months that followed, the galaxy transformed at a pace that would have been impossible under the old council structure. Technologies advanced at exponential rates as species shared their knowledge freely. New worlds were terraformed using combined techniques that no single species could have developed alone. Problems that had plagued the galaxy for centuries were solved within weeks through collaborative innovation. And at the center of it all was humanity, not as rulers or leaders, but as catalysts for change. Their gift to the galaxy wasn't superior technology or military might, but something far more valuable: the courage to never stop growing, never stop adapting, never stop reaching for something better. The day humanity left the Galactic Council had indeed changed everything in the universe, but not in the way anyone had expected. Instead of isolation and decline, it had led to connection and explosive growth. Instead of division, it had created unity built on mutual respect and shared potential. The universe itself had learned humanity's greatest lesson. True strength comes not from perfection, but from the willingness to constantly become something more than you were yesterday.